legends, and welcome to Zwifty Chat.
Hello, legends, and welcome to episode 10 of Zwifty Chat. And I've realised that you can't hear me. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Right, I'm going to have to change things. Hello, legends, and welcome to episode 10 of Zwifty Chat. We've got a pack show lined up for you tonight, and the legend that is the ZR.app Supremo and ZRS consultant, Tim Hanson. Woo! Welcome, Tim. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you? I think I'm hearing you out of your other headset.
Yeah, you're on the other headset. We can still hear you, but
I had to mix up the
like
headsets. Everyone else can hear you, but I can't hear you. So if you could just talk about
Put on your other headset
for just 10 seconds, I will.
I think the
swap
chat can't hear him if he does
audio
that.
source
Maybe if it was a
around
headset close
so
to
we
him.
can hear you from the headset.
There we go.
There we go.
We got you, Rob. Yeah, it's working.
Right. What? Is anyone saying anything? Can someone say something?
Yeah.
Hey.
Can you hear
Is
us,
no one
Rob?
saying anything?
Hello. Hello.
Can you speak?
Hello, everyone on the internet.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Welcome to its IT class.
Oh, man. Oh, I'm sorry. This is so embarrassing. I can't hear you. That's the problem. I'm sure the internet can hear you.
That is a problem.
Oh, man.
Hello, everyone.
Right,
So,
okay.
whilst-
Okay, short interlude. Ben, could you talk to
yeah,
Tim for a minute?
I'll talk to Tim. All right, Tim.
Hello.
So tell us a little bit about yourself so that the chat, they probably all know who you are, but maybe just give us a little bit of your background.
Sure. So I've been a subscriber since beta. Really only used it for off-season training for some of the tours I would do during the summertime. But then during COVID, I kind of got into the racing scene. Did quite a bit of ZRL with some different dirt teams. That was quite a bit of fun, but was noticing that I really thought that the categorization could be improved. I had done some gaming online with like Rocket League and some other games like that you about it, and was able to talk Zwift into letting me in on their conversations about their solution, Zwift Racing Score. So I'm now, I've been a consultant on that project for about a year now. And then there's also some more fun stuff coming that I can talk about later, if you'd like.
Yeah, that'd be great. I suppose while Rob's still sorting things out, so
Sure.
with Zwift Racing Score, obviously, unlike most people in the community who just spend their time complaining on Facebook, how long did it take to set up the Zwift Racing Score?
So I kind of came onto the project as a consultant. It was after the initial release. So the initial release used almost like a Zwift Power Rankings sort of style. seed formula.
Oh yeah.
For
Could you hear me?
putting people in the right categories, and that really wasn't received very well. So it was there they kind of started thinking about maybe starting over with this open scale implementation. So it was right about that point that I got involved and had some input into some of the initial analysis that got done in April. And then, from there, it's just been go with updates and changes and things like that. So,
I think Rob's back.
Can you hear me?
yes.
I'm sorry. I seem to be going right into the red as well, so I'm just going to turn myself down. Though people have complained a lot that they can't hear me enough.
I'm going to close my door.
Yeah, and also on the state, AMBR said that on the scene change we might not have been able to hear Tim. And you're also very loud.
Okay, I have turned myself down a tad.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. Well, thank you for the background, Tim. I'm sorry for the chaotic intro to the
That's quite all right.
to the podcast as usual. I did have a plan. It's these I swapped headsets when I started talking to Ben for some reason, and then I forgot to stand back. I thought we'd talk about a few bits of news first of all, but Ben's done a little introduction to you. I've got my boiler stopped working this week, and it's due to get down to -20 tonight. So I brought my little fans in from my garage. Bought new fans, oil heaters, stocked the house up. But it's going to be very, very cold in the Mr. and Mrs. Zwifty house tonight. So yeah, that's my.
What is that in American?
In American, -20, and it's cold. Yeah. Even in American, that's cold.
That is
quite
cold.
Like -50. So
-4. It looks like. Yeah, we're getting some of that as well. So.
Yeah. Well, which state do you live in?
Iowa.
Oh.
You've probably not heard of it.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it. Virtually all cyclists live around there, don't they? I think.
You think so?
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah.
What's the state capital? The biggest city?
Des Moines.
Des Moines. Oh, Des Moines! Oh wow, that's where I was going to say my favourite author, but I can't remember his name now.
Your favourite author? I can't remember who.
No, he wrote the short history of everything and loads of travel books, which I've read loads of, but not for a while. Is
that a big gravel scene in Iowa?
There is. Yeah, there's quite a bit of gravel, as you might expect, with quite a few farm fields and things. So yeah, I've done my fair share of that. There's a lot of hazards you have to look out for. So usually pepper spray is good to have on your person.
Oh, bears
for the
and such like
No, dogs mostly.
Oh.
Like farm dogs that aren't used to seeing slow-moving vehicles.
Right.
Yeah, dogs hate bikes, don't they? Doesn't matter which part of the world they come from. It's a universal thing for dogs.
Yeah.
Blimey. Well, I thought we'd talk about some stuff, but I haven't organised much beforehand. So I don't suppose either. Are you doing FRR, Ben?
I was going to, but I had to pull the pin because I got that stomach issue, which meant pretty much had no energy. So it would have been good because it would have almost been done, and I'd be sitting here all happy saying this. Mind you, the last stage is an absolute killer.
Yeah. I know some people who just sit in the house like too much, especially before ZRL. Like, done the other 6 stages and just like, nah, don't even fancy the last one. Yeah, but I've started doing Tour de Zwift. And though I heard the Zwiftcast podcast call it Tour of Zwift, like very specifically. I thought that was weird maneuver to call it Tour of Zwift. Like, we're not going to acknowledge the origins of this name at all. Like, I suppose the Tour, but it's called Tour de Zwift, isn't it? Is it?
They're translating it though, right?
I think so.
They're just translating.
Sorry?
It is Tour de Zwift, but yeah, you're just translating the.
Yeah, I suppose so. But it feels a bit anti-French to take out the duh. This sentiment
It's It's definitely Tour de Zwift on the website.
Yeah, cool. So they've released the ultimate challenge, the final challenge, the ultimate challenge. There will be no more challenges after this, which is the you've got to do all 18. I think most people do that every year, don't they? Not most people, but there's a subset who do it every year, aren't they? You've got to do every ride, and like Eric Lee always tries and does them and stuff like that. So I've only got one of the first 3 to go, but there's no really mountainous ones to do in the first round. It's quite rolly, not quite my kind of thing. So I might try doing that. And there's 6 weeks of it, 3 rides per week. So you might want to store that information in your brain if you want to do well in the quiz, and you're good at maths.
Got it.
One of the things about the tour, which is good, is the short C race. You can do that race, finish it, and then late join the longer race.
Yeah. So you can get all 3 done in. So if you do that one in less than an hour, you can get all 3 done in an hour and a half, really, pretty much, can't you?
Yeah, if you join the B cat after you finish the A cat one, or the A distance and the B distance. It's always confusing me how they label A, B, C. And people who are new to Zwift probably think, I can't join an A race. That's all the A ride.
And there is a very high skew as well of A riders in the A race, which I suppose you'd expect they're going to tend to do longer rides, aren't they? But
right.
I mentioned it a few podcasts ago, but after the Tour of Watopia finished, there was a woman in one of my races who'd done just loads of the B rides for Tour of Watopia. Sorry. And she then joined the B category of the Z race, but she'd never ever done more than 2 watts per kilogram. So she was in the second, she was in the, what would now actually be, I suppose, most Z races, the top category, because she was like minus, she was doing the hourly race. And she went along doing a thing at 2 watts per kilogram. And 5 other people also wanted to come last in the race, and they were trying to battle her. And there was only 8 people in the race overall. And by the time we got half a mile in, there was 5 of them battling for last place, and 2 of us battling for first place because someone else just dropped out. He was like, "This is stupid." But perhaps we could, it kind of relates to our conversation later.
Doing like virtual track stands.
Yeah. I mean, the battle for first place was dead easy. I dropped the only other guy who was racing just after it was from downtown Watopia. We went down the pier, went through the banner, and I took off up the ramp, dropped him. That was it. The race for first place was over. There was no competition whatsoever. But the race for last place was very competitive. Like, oh, you're going to go at 2 watts per kilogram. I'll go at 1.5.
Imagine if his very first race on Zwift, you're like, this is so easy. I got the 3rd place wrapped up.
What else we're going to talk about? We're going to talk about where's all my slides gone? This is ridiculous.
I've got them. So you got New Year's resolutions?
Yes, New Year's resolutions, ZRL. This should only take a few minutes, I reckon. And then ZR.app. And I'd hope you'd offer some expertise there, Tim. Might take the lead even on that discussion. And, and then we'll fire right into category enforcement to ZRS, the journey that has been via a little bit of ZR.app. And then we've got a quiz. And there's quite a few rating type questions in the quiz, so I reckon you're already hot favourite. If there was a quiz rating thing, your seed would be you'd be diamond straight away. I'm afraid.
I'll take it. I wouldn't normally be in that category. So.
Yeah.
There's a bit of pressure on you, Rob. What if you get the answers wrong? Tim's gonna.
If I get the answers wrong.
Yeah, if the answers you've chosen, then.
Oh yeah,
you've got a bit of pressure there.
Yeah, that would.
You got a good backpacker in today. Usually it's just us got off. I think you're right, Rob. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Right. Well, does anyone do you have any New Year's resolutions? Should we start with Ben? Do you have any biking related New Year's resolutions?
Not really. I've given up on the New Year's resolutions many years ago.
It's a concept.
Generally, because generally you end up not doing it, and I feel like it's to me it's something that you set yourself up for failure. So I've just gone okay.
I like failing though. It's one of the best things. Actually, the only thing better than failing is sabotaging. Having a really achievable, good goal, and then deliberately just sticking the wheel and just messing it up for myself. That's what I'm best at, I think.
Yeah. And you got any resolutions, Tim?
I didn't set any out purposefully. I was listening to the Zwiftcast and I liked Eric's whole bit about having a little more full body fitness. You spend way too much time on the lower half and you let the upper half atrophy a bit. So if I could address that,
I say that all the time.
Otherwise, that's just extra weight, right?
But
that's the exercise that you and I do, right? Where we talk about doing stuff, bone density and things like that, and then the next week we're like, oh yeah, we'll do that.
100% racing. Yeah.
I've never done it.
Though I started taking my son to the gym, and he's been quite focused on it. So I think I might join as well. So I have to take him now and just watch him. So watch him do his stuff, which is fine to start off with when he didn't know what he was doing. But now he knows what he's doing, it's just a bit weird that I'm sat there in the gym. He's not allowed to be on his own, but I've just got to stay on my phone pretty much.
Sure. It's not a very Zwifty thing, but I'd like to ride my bike outside more often this year.
Right. Yeah. That is weird.
What have you got? Any rides in mind, like long distance, short distance races, crit racing?
No, not really.
Yeah.
Just getting outside, turning in real life, that sort of thing. So
yeah.
With the young kids, it's like the Zwift is just so such a good use of the limited amount of time I have for that sort of thing. So
it really is, isn't it? Like getting your bike ready, getting cleaning and clothes.
Oh yeah.
As compared to just jumping on.
Yeah, outdoors too. A lot of times you want to ride with mates, and so if you tell them at a certain time and then something happens, you feel pretty bad. Whereas on Zwift, you're just like, oh well, I just missed the race. It doesn't matter. Just do it.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's that one done. We're halfway through, so we should be done by 9:30, I think.
Oh.
Oh! No one asked me. So I
the resolution for.
I've news resolution. So I've got a podcasting one. I want to continue. I don't want to always have superstars like Tim. I want to be community focused. I think the community guys are as interesting as the pros. The top level. So I'm going to continue along the same. I'm going to do the same thing pretty much. If someone happens to be exceptionally good, then so be it. But and just continue to try and help people races. Like I nearly stopped doing the recons because I hate it. It takes ages. But I thought, no, my mission is to help people win races. So the recons are the main way that I do that. So I'm going to continue doing that.
If you're doing enough, you shouldn't have to make any more because they just keep doing the same courses over and over. So.
Yeah. Like they're doing Duce Franson in a couple of weeks. And I did a recon for that, but it was for a TTT. I'm like, do I have to do it again because it's a points race? And I do really, don't I? Because it's a different race. I do, don't I?
Slightly.
I assume you're going to keep doing the Z racing.
Oh yeah. I haven't done it this week. Haven't done the course partly because I'm in advanced, so there's less categories. Fewer times I can do it, so I can do it in the morning, for instance, and partly because I've had a metatarsal, like a really sore right metatarsal, so I was barely able to walk sort of Wednesday, Thursday. But I raced today, did the Muckle Yin. That was a good video. Go and check that out if you haven't already. I just drafted all the way around. Someone made a break for it on the Skur North, the gravel side, and he was an A+ rider. I was like, right, I'll get with him. And I tried to take a turn or two, but it was just too tiring, and he just kept cycling really fast anyway, so I just sat on his wheel. But
if they're willing to work, just let them work.
Sorry?
If they're willing to work, just let them work.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I was spoiling his workout by taking a turn, aren't I, really? Oh, have I got echo? I've got two microphones. Did you say echo? Okay.
No, I didn't say
There's a little
okay.
bit.
Oh, right. Okay, I think it's gone. Yeah, sorry, I had two microphones turned on. Yeah, but I didn't do the Zwifty maneuver. The main reason I joined was to do the Zwifty maneuver because I haven't done it for so long. And because he dragged me all the way around, I was like, I can't really do that to him. I can't do it.
You better explain. You better explain what the Zwifty maneuver is in case people haven't actually watched you do the
It
Zwifty
is actually
maneuver.
the most famous maneuver in all of online cycling. I can't believe there's no one who hasn't heard it. But the Zwifty maneuver is in the Glasgow. If it finish on the Glasgow Champion Sprint, there's a little bump with 500 meters to go, and instead of waiting until 300 meters to sprint, you sprint up the little bump, and then get a gap, and then no one can catch you. Basically, it's impossible. Yeah. It's impossible to beat the Zwift maneuver if done well. But yeah, I didn't compete with it. I didn't compete with him because he dragged me all the way around. If it was for first place rather than for second place, I think I might have. But there we go. Right. Yeah, so ZRL this week is on. It's actually, I thought it was on Duce France because I'm doing the recon for the second week now, so I'm a week ahead of everyone else, so I got a bit confused. But it's on Wasted Aid. Have you ever done that one?
I don't think so.
Ben?
No.
No. Okay, that's utterly useless.
Good combo.
Have you done Jarvis Island even?
I've done Jarvis. I did that for that bloody challenge that you made me do. Well, you didn't make me do, but the chat made me do.
Oh, did you? Oh, look, all the stuff that I've been trying to bring up has just come up at once. And all my slides are out of order. And this bloody thing won't go. I've been trying to bring up the itinerary for ages. And now it just won't go. What?
I was watching a thing on YouTube the other day, and there was supposed to be a really cool presentation. Everyone would touch the screen to try and start the screen. And then once they touched the screen, someone accidentally bumped the mouse and you could see the play bar for the video.
Oh, I'll tell you what. I tell you what. We said we'd discuss that. It was the very first item on the list, but because I couldn't get that itinerary up, I missed it. Pack Dynamics 5. So they've announced what's been going on a bit.
Did they actually announce it? I've missed it.
Sorry?
Did they actually announce it? That's big news for me because I've been looking at the Zwift forum every single day. And waiting for them.
To say they announced it is maybe a bit of an exaggeration. They've begrudgingly acknowledged it. But I don't think it's terrible. But let's have a look. So basically, they've said, "Oh yeah, you've spotted it then." And what they've been doing, and so this is what they say has happened. So faster riders coming up on slower riders steer around them versus powering right through them, which I don't think's really happened for a while, has it? Hasn't there always been a bit of that? Anyway, in a pack, we still plough through a bit, but that's not where I've noticed, really. But single riders versus single riders should be much nicer now. But I think it's like that in groups as well.
What does much nicer mean? Does that mean where like you give each other cups of teas and things like that?
Well, they've got a great phrase for it. We'll come back to that. They've got a great phrase for what happens when you go around each other. The increase in draft-seeking behaviour. So that's kind of what you saw where people were following them.
Yeah.
Here's the phrase. Increased collision between riders. We're not trying to eliminate interpenetrations. That's what they call it when someone, we call it phasing through each other. They call it an interpenetration. I just think that's a wonderful word that they've
That is a nice word.
I'm going to use that on my stream. I'm going to interpenetrate this rider ahead.
So it's not an overtake, it's an interpenetrate.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like it happened if you come up from the rear with sufficient speed. Go round.
Yeah.
You go around.
Yeah. It's only, they don't want accidental interpenetrations.
I don't want that either.
No, nobody wants that. But they do want to improve the situation by increasing the collision bounds a little. Well, I don't really know what that means, but so there's now a boundary around you. You've got like a force field, but it can be penetrated sometimes, but sometimes not. It depends on various circumstances. Make it so that you can't steer through people so easily. So this is the main thing that I noticed, that you can't just wang your way back into the meat of the draft, which I think is good, really. I mean, I don't like it because I've got steering, and I'd imagine they didn't want to advertise it too heavily, like, oh, we're making steering less useful now. Please buy our stuff.
Yeah.
But it's fair enough, really. You shouldn't just be able to just cut all the corners and then when everyone catches up with you, just fly straight back into the middle of the pack. For people who have steering inputs, make steering gradually blend back in over time. I don't know.
Half a minute's a long time.
Sorry?
Half a minute's a long time.
Yeah.
It's not that long in my experience. But
it is in my experience when I'm getting dropped. And it's like, give me that draft. I'm getting smashed. You missed one of the points, though. Right?
Did I?
Ignore draft sitting behind avatars that have a large speed delta from you.
Oh, yeah. So what apparently people report in is that their bike was starting to draft behind runners. It's like you see a runner up the road and it was like, oh, I'll follow them. And they were like, well, that must have been you going very slow up a hill, maybe, or something like that.
I think so, yeah.
But, you wouldn't want that, would you? You would be drafting behind a runner.
Have they advised on which situation the Pack Dynamics 5 is in play now? Is it in everything?
Well, there's more on that, Ben. I'm glad you asked. There's a lot more on that. So all employees have been riding it for 4 or 5 months. Now, I think I haven't seen one employee like really racing recently at all.
What about?
They used to have a team and stuff, but I don't see them much. Oh, has Eric been racing?
He's been on the platform a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. But I don't know. Well, basically, they've just said last time we did it, when we asked you lot for all your feedback, it was rubbish. You just told us a lot of crap, and we're not going to bother with that anymore because we got hundreds and hundreds of forum posts saying it's doing this, it's doing that, and the races were a bit weird. Did you ever do one of those Pack Dynamics test races? I think I did one for version 4.1, and I was like, drafting is over. You cannot draft in these races. We're done. Yeah. The game is up. It's done. And it's just because people rode like crazy. People are like, right, what happens if I just sprint at every single available opportunity?
Yeah, I remember doing it. Was it 4.0 when Zwift Insider's tiny races started? And it was just crazy how if you're at the back of the pack, you just got dropped because you got stuck against the 4 other riders around you. So if they're getting dropped, no matter how much power you put out, you're just out the back door, whereas people at the front were just all cruising along. I do remember that, and I was thinking this is absolutely, they're definitely not going to release this as is.
Yeah, so they've just been secretly doing it and not decided to engage us, which, fair enough. But, I think basically they're just like, they've realised, I think, maybe, we'll stay away from pop-up politics. Maybe, they've just gone away from, democracy and just said, autocracy's the way. We just tell them this is how we're doing it. And we don't care what you think, customers. We know better than you. And they probably do.
Things happen a lot faster when you're not asking 10,000 people what they think.
You'd hope so, wouldn't you? So they started turning it on.
While we're on the subject, I'm just making a new video. And I don't know, Tim, whether you got any expertise in this area, but I think I figured out how they implement the sticky draft, potentially, because I've been using Source on 2 accounts at the same time. And I have noticed, it seems to be that when you're in the group, if they want to make you stuck to the other riders, the draft actually drops down. So I've been in the middle of the group and I've had a rider at the back of the group, and the rider at the back of the group has had 40 or 50 more watts draft saving. And so I'm not sure whether that's just
Interesting.
something that I'm not sure if that's actually what's
Did you
happening.
what?
But like, you know how you look at your draft gauge and also like 300 watts that you're saving. Well, what I've noticed with my 2 accounts is that I have to look at it in more deeper detail. But if you're in the middle of the pack getting sticky draft, and then I've got a rider at the back of the pack 3 or 4 bike lengths behind, there can be 50 watt difference in draft saving that the rider at the back who's not getting sticky draft is getting, which doesn't look like it. Like the rider in the middle should be getting the ideal draft, but they're actually getting a lower draft, and it just kicks in randomly. Seems like it randomly. I haven't done a deep dive into it, but I was testing whether a lightweight bike in a pack is far less efficient than an aerodynamic bike. So I'll release that video later on. But whilst I was doing that testing, I was like, wait a sec, why is my draft so different despite that draft should be a lot better? So I'm not sure if that's part of the way they're doing the sticky draft is they'll just remove your draft a little bit in the pack. Is that something that you've heard about, Tim?
I haven't, no.
Okay.
So,
Do you think it's just hanging around the cafe and people just start talking about how they implement sticky draft?
He does talk to Zwift employees like he's
Yeah. No, I'm only allowed to know things about racing score generally, so which is fine. I respect the need to know.
Oh, sorry. Do you know, Ben? I think you're possibly the most knowledgeable person about Zwift that I regularly talk to. But that sounds like absolute crazy nonsense. I can't believe that is the case at all. Are you serious?
That's what I'm asking, because on the video, I'll release it later on. But yeah, there's some weird things happening with the draft gauge when you've got 2 riders in similar situations that don't make sense. So anyway,
maybe
you can be the judge. You can be the judge, Rob.
Maybe it makes sense. Maybe. Right. So then they just did loads of stuff. Apparently, they accidentally turned it on for TTs. They turned it on for Mercury 40. Oddly, it's like just one route. Then group rides.
40 days ago.
Sorry.
I read that as we turned on Mercury 40 days ago.
It is ambiguous, though. It is ambiguous. But I think your interpretation is right. We turned it on for Mercury. Right. Again, turned it on for group rides and accidentally for TTTs, so people got angry about that it was on for TTTs and it probably messed things up. Then they turned it off for non-group rides and on for turned it on. Right, it's too crazy. I can't even understand that. Right, so what they're going to do next is, and I feel like I should really read this out in some sort of dictatorial thing accent. Next change is going later in January. We will fix the toggle so we can re-enable group rides, but disable for DTT. I apologise to any fans of Nazis or Zwift. We've reduced the amount of people ploughing through the packs. We've reduced the amount other people ploughing through packs can push you around. Oh, yeah, they're sticking up for the little guy. Look at this. This is a classic populist push. Sticking up for the little man who's being pushed around by the guy who's just ploughing through them. Yeah, good on you, Zwift. Right now, if somebody rams you from behind, both avatars end up moving. We think the aggressor should be moving to the right or left, so the people minding their own business do not have to move as much. Oh, good on you, Zwift. Sticking up for the little man. Go on. And then beyond that, the widening the draft-seeking behaviour. So this is the thing that you pointed out, Ben. So I don't know if you saw, Tim, but if you go into the gutter, basically, or from gutter to gutter, you drop the auto drafter behind you can't figure out what's going on. It's like, wow, he's gone. There's no one to follow. So the widening the which is fair enough. It's like a heat-seeking missile, isn't it? You don't want to be looking everywhere, but you've got to look at either side of the road, I suppose.
That's interesting, because that was one of the things where I thought, okay, that's having the steering is a benefit there, because you can just have the advantage, but at the same time, you don't want to give steering riders the advantage because it's pay for win.
Well, you've still got the advantage. So, I mean, the main advantage, I suppose. So now I mainly use steering in breakaways. That's where I think the main advantage is. You get away. So there is a bit. There's a little bit where you steer away once you're.
You can be Max Verstappen and choose the best corner, and the people behind you.
Yeah, I don't normally choose the best corner because you usually choose the best hill. It's usually the best hill to go on, but it's often at a corner. And I don't actually normally steer away until there's a little bit of a gap anyway, so that people don't know for sure that you're breaking away. As soon as you turn off, that's like always going kind of thing. But that can put people off from chasing.
Yeah, when I see someone steer away, I don't bother chasing. I'm like, I can't follow that wheel, so I'm not bother chasing.
So what was that, Tim?
Yeah, I've always used it pretty much to make sure I'm not getting stuck behind somebody. So if I'm going to do an attack, push myself out of the draft so that I'm not having to waste watts going through the group or interpenetrating the group. So
that's very polite of you.
Yeah.
I think you still get. I deliberately interpenetrate. I think you get the. I think you get the slingshot still. If you ram him,
I don't know, because
if you ram him hard enough from behind, then you just get the slingshot, don't you? You don't get stuck.
With the impact dynamics, if you just steer away, just as you're about to reach them, you just steer a little bit, you do get the advantage there. So I think, unless you're actually sprinting through them, if you just want to be efficiently moving past everyone, just steer around them and you kick your momentum, I think. So it depends.
Okay.
Like if you're steering enough, you can probably just interpenetrate anyone you want through the group. We're going to be using this word for the rest of the series, aren't we?
I think so.
It's a good job they come up with it, because if we come up with it, people would think we were filthy, childish.
Just as well, Nathan.
Yeah,
Nathan
so
isn't here.
I think I think the main advantage is that then you take the shortest line from then on in. Like the race you watched that I won, Tim. Chris? At Christmas is what I was going to say. I won by 700ths, and it's not a particularly windy course, but it must have saved me 700ths of a second, cutting the corners on Gotham Reverse. Did you say that one, Ben? It's a nice little win I did.
I did. You have mentioned this a couple of times, Rob.
Okay, it's nice. I've got a video if you want to.
Link in the description below.
Right. So then, not just one world, all of the worlds will have. Why am I making out them to be Hitlers? Turn on for all the worlds in scheduled non-race events. Right. So they're not doing it in racing, basically. What?
Yeah.
Are they never going to do it in racing?
Well, that's the next bit.
All right, start
limited
testing in specific racing and time trial events. I wonder are they going to do it in secret though? Just like secret.
Well, Zwift Insider always puts his hand up.
Sorry.
So Zwift Insider always puts his hand up for the latest dynamics of it in this tiny races.
Oh, I thought this was interesting, and they're going to change the Supertuck behaviour. I don't like it in a kind of selfish way, because. Messing people up with the Supertuck is awesome. Getting deliberately in there. Deliberately giving them a tiny bit of draft so that they can't Supertuck. It's one of the sneakiest tricks.
They haven't used a good word for this one. They had interpenetration. They should have something for giving someone your gas. Take my gas.
Deliberate gassing. Oh no, that's what
they call it. The America's Cup. They always refer to every time you're in front of the other sailboat. They're like, "Oh, he taking my gas," which is probably true.
Taking the wind.
Gas.
Interesting. Yeah.
So, but I'm surprised at the phrasing of that after the other phrasing. It feels annoying right now. It feels like it's a personal note.
Aggressive wind giving. Doesn't feel fair.
Yeah.
Well, what should the Supertuck rules be? Because it does feel unfair. You know, you're going down, especially down the grade. So you go down the grade now, sprint over the top. You know, get a little bit of a lead, and then
But
sit in the middle of the road, and no one else behind can Supertuck.
I'm worried though, because one of the great things about the current Supertuck is you can be that single rider who makes a break and stays away from the pack on a descent.
Yeah.
So that was one of the best parts of having the Supertuck nullified, was you didn't lose 20 seconds on the long distance.
Yeah. So how do you keep that good fair advantage that a solo rider has now got, whilst removing the slightly weird thing of there's 4 riders going through effectively solo, but not only the front one gets the draft. I was thinking, unless anyone's got an idea, does anyone want to say? What about if there's no rider within 5 meters of you?
Yeah, sure. It seems like what would happen out in the real world. I don't think you would Supertuck right on someone's wheel.
Yeah.
But at the moment, you Supertuck as soon as you lose draft. So if you're going 80 kilometers an hour, you get draft from like 30 meters back. So if you suddenly start Supertucking within 5 meters, they've got to change the way the Supertuck is. So they have to get rid of, okay, you're getting a draft. You need to also get a Supertuck now too, which I'm not quite sure how they're going to implement. I'm not expert on that.
What if you said it's an or thing? So you've either got no draft, and the 57 miles per hour and the 57 kph. So assuming that, right? That's an and. You've definitely got to have that. And then either of you're getting no draft, or there's no one 5 meters ahead of you.
I'd rather 10. But yeah, I think this will be interesting to see how they can fix this problem, because I don't want them to. Well, I don't want them to ruin the fact that if you're in a solo breakaway and you can Supertuck and the rest of the group just doesn't steamroll over top of each other.
Yeah, that is brilliant. It is brilliant how they've changed that. Or it was stupid how it was, whichever way you want to say it. But
it depends if you're the chasee or the chaser.
Yeah, but it's made races far more exciting, hasn't it? Especially if you're the one who likes to do breakaways over the last hill.
Indeed.
Okay, right. So yeah, I think I think it's all right. I don't think they need to tell everyone everything. It looks a bit silly just like now telling them that once people have discovered it, but you don't need to have test events and all that sort of stuff. You can just
I don't mind them not asking for feedback. It'd just be good to say, okay, we're going to be testing at the moment when you're in the world. It'll feel weird because we're doing some tests with the pack dynamics. And if it's not in races, I don't care too much. If it's in races, then obviously it does affect things a lot more. But if you're in a group ride or riding around in the world...
Yeah, some people have said it's a lot harder to stay in pace partner rides.
Yeah, I think
you need a lot more concentration now, apparently.
Yeah, if you fall to the back of the group and riders are falling off, because the problem with the pace partner rides, you've got people always dropping out of the group. You'll be riding along near the back and there's a rider dropping off every 10 seconds, and you don't want to get stuck on them as they fall back.
Right.
Yeah.
What's the chat saying?
Yeah, I was just trying to read the chat, actually. Now that I put loads of work.
Why should open?
I put loads of work before the thing. We should have had this view on, shouldn't we? There we go. More democracy. Yeah. Zwifty chat is in favour of democracy, unlike Zwift. We encourage feedback.
Dave's right. Steering's a great weapon against the burritos. I didn't actually realise until I saw people using steering that the burrito it's actually a circular distance that it affects. So if you steer to the right or the left, you can avoid the burrito completely. Which is a big advantage of steering.
Yeah, get horizontal with them. It's great. I mean, you lose it. I suppose it's
get horizontal. No.
My word, what's wrong with you today, Mr. Pitt?
I've got my Zwift terminology started it.
What's Dave started his sentence with actually, Ben? Oh, so yeah, I hope he's correcting you. Actually, Ben, that's what. Oh, it's always been thought when a group is drafting. Should the aero bike help?
Yeah, I was talking about my video that I'm putting together about being, because one of the discussions is, okay, there's a finish with a climb. Am I going to use an aero bike to get to the climb and be as rested as possible and then take it as it is? Or do I use a lightweight bike? How much draft or how hard is it going to be compared to using an aero bike to actually get to that hill? So I just did a quick video just to check the difference. I don't want to ruin I don't want to ruin the outcome of the video, because what's the point of making it if I tell you what happens?
Yeah, there you go.
It is something that's very difficult to test. Like Zwift Insider has done obviously all these tests, but you can't just do an AMP plus bot. So what I've done is actually ridden as two riders. That was kind of funny because at some stage I was just me and my rider cruising along the course, pulling myself along, giving myself some draft. But yeah, it's something that I thought I'd better do, because so much chat is about
Oh, is there no audio? Oh, I'm sorry.
I can hear.
I'm sorry. You could still hear, but it was Ben just saying a load of stuff. I was trying to get the browser set up so I could ZwiftRacing.app seamlessly.
Tim knows all about it. That's awesome.
Yeah, Tim can tell you afterwards. I can't get into ZwiftRacing.app though. Right.
That's awkward.
Sign in.
Miguel.
I don't think signing in with Google works, because I think I'm signed in with Strava, so I think I had two
You
weird.
just have to log in.
But it won't let me.
You've been banned.
Oh yeah,
What's your rider ID?
Right, let me try this.
230, something like that.
132 130 2300. Is that, I think?
Yeah, that's it.
Let me see if we can do this.
Yeah. I can see the email address that you're logged in with here, but it's a Gmail account.
Where does he live?
I can't read those addresses. They're not American address format.
Oh man, I've got my Strava login. I never use Strava. Is there a Gmail address I use?
Yeah, Gmail.
Yeah, so if you want to switch to a Google login, I can let you do that.
Oh, can you? How?
Yeah, you can log in with your Google.
How?
Just go back to the login and choose Google instead of...
Oh yeah, but this, I think this is linked to the wrong account. I think that's the problem.
How many podcasts
Oh,
do
I
you
can
get
solve
for
that.
the creator of the website helping an idiot?
And I don't know why it does this. Do you know why it does this, Ben? Why do some websites look transparent when I do it in?
Oh yeah, that's
maybe maybe it's just one of the filters or something you got set up. I don't know. I have to get you to do sharing screen to be able to do that.
Sorry, I haven't got any filters. There you go. I haven't got any filters.
There you go.
Oh, sorry.
Find your profile and reclaim it with this login
Oh,
here.
okay.
Good to go.
Right. Okay. Right. So we do have. Let me just see. All right. You're not on this. Right. We're gonna have to go with. Right. We're gonna have to go with this view. I can't have the browser only. I haven't set your mics up on the other scene. Anyway, we're gonna have to use this one. So how's how long's ZwiftRacing.app been going now?
I think it's over 2 years now at this point.
Really?
Yeah.
And what's the latest stuff is on the I think.
Well, you would need to claim your profile to see the the major change.
Yeah.
But I can talk about. So recently, I know that have you guys do any ladder racing, like club ladder?
I have
You
done,
guys
yeah.
do any of that? Okay.
Have, but not for a while yet.
Okay. Yeah. So they've recently decided to stop persisting their results to Zwift Power, and so now they are giving me their results once they're finalized directly. So it's a relatively new change.
So what's that mean?
So
the
what's the
results
consequence
do
of that?
appear on Zwift Power.
they don't. Yeah, they
The
never
Rob-
appear on Zwift Power.
Rob's head's blowing up because everything that you do is with power, isn't it, Rob?
Yeah,
They're just bypassing Zwift Power.
they are indeed.
Oh my word! That feels monumental.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of Zwift Power related news coming. But we can get to that after this has been like.
Yeah, I'd like to hear that.
Yeah, so
I think I've spoken about it in Rob's Discord, how I dislike that Zwift Power is the Bible of all the results. I'm actually quite happy if they do move towards a first party.
Oh well, I think there might be. I've been waiting. For this, Tim. Right, let's. I can't believe we talked 50 minutes about a lot of crap when you had big, exciting news. Right. So you can just bypass Zwift Power. Oh my god, that just. Yeah, of course you can. Of course you can. Wow, brilliant. And the score just updates in your website. No need for Zwift Power.
it does.
What was the driver behind that?
I think those guys over there, Douglas, Gareth, they're I think they're having issues getting that to work properly because they have quite a bit of performance verification, different codes for disqualifications, things like that. So it became kind of cumbersome. So this was an alternative they asked if I could support. I said sure. And so here we are. So now there's a job that runs a couple times a day to pick up new finalized ladder results. And then they have the ability themselves to, for an individual event, trigger that on ZR anytime they want. So
I work in one of the UK's largest financial instruction institutions, and I think if they requested such a thing, it would take about 18 months, and then they'd tell the people they can't be done.
Yeah, it's one of the benefits of being a company of one. Not even a company, whatever. One guy.
Yeah.
How much time does it take out of your day having to run the website?
It's more than I hope, but not as much as it could be, I guess. So there's quite a few emails to answer, Discord messages, things like that. There's a racing score feedback channel on my Discord that I try to keep up with so that I can be informed of what it is that the community wants to see next out of the Racing Score project. So I can give that information to Zwift during our meetings and things. So yeah, is
that what they expected of you, or is that just like an additional service you're offering? Or?
Yeah, as part of my consulting agreement was, being able to be that liaison and provide that feedback and stuff like that. So,
yeah, I mean, they just do not like talking to people, do they? They're like, there's someone else. Get an external in. Oh, those dirty customers. Just get.
To be fair, Rob, I think
looking at Facebook,
looking at comments, I'd probably like to have some sort of intermediary.
So I've tried my best to curate the conversation on Discord to be a bit better than what you see on Facebook. Or
it is good. It's a great conversation. Yeah. And they know stuff. So boy, do they know stuff.
Yeah. Alex and Gordon do a great job of moderating, particularly in the hours. A lot of the conversation happens while I'm sleeping because Europeans get up and have a lot of opinions, and then I don't see them until several hours later.
We're not good in the morning. It's cold. You try and wake up in Europe every day.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so
let's claim your profile real quick. I'll show you the other big change, which I dropped as kind of a Christmas.
Claim my profile
present. Yeah. So put your Rider ID in the search bar there.
I can't see the search bar. I'm sorry.
Top right near your photo.
Oh, okay. What's my Rider ID?
130, 2300. Someone else might have already claimed it.
Well, I've claimed
That'd
it.
be
Oh,
you'll have to do it again. Click the plus.
The chat wasn't fast enough to claim it.
Yeah, that would have been a really funny troll if someone did.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah,
Oh.
there's a new tab there on the dashboard called History. So
Oh, look at this.
for a while
This
now.
I was
it's
ill.
been-
I was ill. That's what went wrong. I was ill.
Oh,
And then I got a 5-minute upgrade. Right. Sorry.
Yeah, so this
What were you saying?
Everyone
that's
loves
okay.
this sort
This
of
is all
information.
90-day data. So what you see here is all for the last 90 days. And
Yep.
so what a common request has been is to see kind of a broader sense of your history. So that new tab there called History, which you can't really see on your browser because of that weird background thing. But if you click on that,
Oh,
it's
where's?
to the right of.
Oh, is it
It's going to
there?
be dashboard.
Is it
And there'll
there-ish?
be a few others, and then history. Can you see it there?
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah.
there. There you go. So this is only for 2025, but if there was a drop down that you can't really see, but it's just the top left. There you go. Switch to 2024. And then
Oh, yeah. Let's
for-
the good old days of 2024 when I was good. Oh, look at this.
There you go.
Look at this. Oh, look at that. I can get back there.
Yeah.
Good old day. I was an A back then. I was winning A races. Oh, I think that was my best race ever. Oh, look at
12 DNFs. Tisk. So yeah, one thing with the summary view of this history is I wanted to add a bit of the wag of the finger to go with the tip of the hat. So that there is counts for how many times you DNF and how many times you don't give enough effort.
I had
So
a
it's like 3 times.
chain problem. The chain kept slipping off.
Sure.
I should look at mine because I don't think I've ever DNF'd a race. I don't,
Oh, you have a
I've
nice-
had my bike trainer literally.
Look at this.
What happened to it? I think that's right. My bike trainer belt broke, and I still finished the race by using my pedals as power and doing like 50
Oh,
watts.
you're so good. Aren't you?
Nice. Good for you.
And now I DNF if I'm doing particularly badly. I was like, oh, I'm too tired to do this race. When in the old days I would have finished. I would have finished last or something. But now I don't want to look like I'm a sandbagger.
Yeah.
So I'm
Especially if you're
heroic, really. That's what I'm trying to get at. I'm sacrificing sacrificing myself to not be a sandbagger. Anyway, that's awesome. That is cool. Look at that. It's actually making me feel sad though about how good I used to be. Oh,
And then if you scroll down, you'll see all your results too. It's not just the graphs.
oh really?
So
Oh
this-
wow.
This information is absolutely what everyone wants. Can you say whether we're going to get this for Zwift Racing Score? Because at the moment, that is the most annoying thing, is not being able to see your history.
Yes, you will.
Oh, cool.
Did you say there was a Zwift Power development that you want to make us aware of or not?
Yeah, so starting last month, I added to my duties with Zwift, and so I'm working on what will hopefully become an internal Zwift Power, much like you see here on ZwiftRacing.app. So a way to see all the events that are occurring, to see your ranking over time, a dashboard like this. Yeah, so that's
Internal, did you
leagues.
say?
Yeah, on Zwift.com.
Oh,
so you don't have to
okay.
worry
So
about
not
trying
just
to
for
work
Zwift employees.
What's that? I'm sorry.
Not just for Zwift employees.
Correct, but not a third-party website, like first party
Right, I
on
see.
the actual
Okay.
platform. Yeah.
That's the official result as well. Because that's one of the things I dislike is that you go to Zwift and you get the result, and then you go to Zwift Power and you get a different result.
Yeah.
Do you know what they're intending, if anything, to do about like heart rate disqualifications and so on?
I assume we'll have to figure that out. Yeah, Swift Power is very there's a lot of stuff there. So, picking out the parts that are needed for an MVP sort of product to in-house it will be fun. But so yeah, we're working through leagues right now, being able to support leagues on the website. So that's current activity.
Make sure you get the server ready for all those Europeans with their opinions.
Yeah, I mean, this is a poison chalice you've picked up here. It's a much beloved website. I mean, I already feel like I don't like you. Like you're taking
I
away my
love it.
favorite thing.
Honestly, I'm ready. I'm ready to move on from Zwift Power.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any plans to, decommission or whatever. I don't think that's anything to worry about. This is just about like bringing the experience, the user experience you have here on Swift Racing app to the actual website, so that you said, Ben, having one source of truth for results, because you might only show 10 people raced on Swift Power, but really there were 20 people there, so you should be able to enjoy beating those other 10 people if that's what happened.
Yeah. Oh.
All right. So what else have we got?
We've got the main topic of conversation, which I've hit the lead, haven't I? We haven't talked about Zwift Racing Score, which was all advertised it was going to be about. So we've just cut in under the hour to get to the main topic of conversation. I have got some slides, but because I did more than 10, they've reordered themselves in a weird way, so that like 12 is after, 11's after number 1, right? So it's really annoying. But I mean, I thought it's up to you, Tim. We could have talked about this in advance, but what I thought would do is talk a little bit about rating systems. Don't mind at all talking about maths if we want to do that, and I don't know how much you can say, but we'll just give a very brief overview about rating systems, and then go from ELO. Everyone knows how category enforcement used to work: power based and ZFTP based. You had the idea of doing the ELO based or virtual ELO based thing, and so that works essentially on the idea that every rider has what I'd like to call spread. So you've got an estimate, which is the peak of the curve of their performance rating. Let's call it the performance rating is the middle, what you expect them to be able to perform at, on a scale, whatever it is, 0 to 1,000, 0 to 3,000, whatever. This one's 0 to 1,000. And this one that represents me, for instance, and there's a spread where you'd expect most of their performances to come against other people, and then stupid bloody thing. Right, and then essentially there's loads of maths, but it says if you're up against another rider who has a spread which maybe intersects against yours, is that you say there's a certain likelihood that, given the overlap of those two curves, what the chances are of one beating the other, and the higher rated player essentially gets fewer points than the lower rated player, depending on who wins. So if the higher rated player wins, they get a few points. If the lower rated player wins, they get lots of points. And in a multiplayer game, what you do in essence is you add up all those, you put every player against each other, see where they came. So 7th versus 9th, 7th beat 9th, look at their overlap, blah blah blah, and you get you total up all those little bits. You decide what your volatility is, and that's usually in a game like chess, which ELO was invented for, which ELO invented the system for, I should say, because he was a person, not an acronym. What he invented the system was so the volatility you could change. Do you want to change a little or do you want to change a lot? And that's just a choice of the system. And then so in a multiplayer game you've got this sort of scenario. So I looked at our 3 ratings, and in your ZR.app system, effectively what we've got is people with we just assume that everyone has the same spread, the same wideness of their graph. Sometimes they're basically, we assume that 100 points or whatever it is, 40 points either side of their mean. What was that, Ben?
Tim shaking his head.
No, that's not entirely how it works.
Oh, is it not?
But
Okay, go on.
No. So I believe you're referring to K. So if you have that other slide there with the math on it, I'll say
no.
math for you.
I'm not referring to K.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So the concept of sigma and such, that's specific to true skill.
It is.
So that really doesn't exist. So in an ELO, there is no there's uncertainty baked into it, but there's not like this chart like you see here where there's So
it kind of is by these formularies, like saying there's a anyway. But you know it better than I. But there's a chance that there's a smaller chance that you'll beat someone who's higher rated and
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And so on. And that's what this exemplifies. But yeah, the K in chess is like a set number. Maybe for different, time length is different, but whereas it can actually be dynamic, so you can make it, so that certain players, depending on how long they've been playing or so on, the volatility can increase or decrease, which is, I believe, what you do in ZR.app.
Correct.
So
there's a few different factors that set your K, and that K changes for every race. So as you race more often, the K will generally reduce.
Yeah, so your volatility can be a variable rather than just a static as it is with chess. And in ZR.app, it works. So you do all this stuff, which is normal ELO stuff, and then you add an opponent bonus if they podium, plus or minus a phenotype adjustment if they're in a race that they are particularly strong or weak at.
Yep.
And then if they've met a low effort level, penalty, whatever, then they just get no change.
Correct.
Is there anything else?
I think you've hit the major points there.
Okay.
Yeah, we tried out there's been a few other things we tried, but I think right now active, these are the three major ones.
Okay. Right.
I'm just laughing because Sean's saying there's no questions in this about this.
Yeah, I make no apologies for putting the detail. Some people are interested in it, some people aren't, some people understand it, some people don't. Apparently I don't either, so don't be embarrassed. But, some people want to know this stuff, so I make no apologies for including it.
I don't understand of it, but what my interaction with this sort of systems with car racing, like online racing, but it's so different than bike racing, especially as... Like, same with chess. When you're racing a car, it doesn't matter what course you do. You generally do, like, okay, I'm quite quick. Whereas if you do bike racing, that's completely different. Doing Fuego flats compared to the Alp. And so there's so many more spanners in the work when it comes to this compared to pretty much every other form.
Absolutely.
Well, actually, chess do maintain... It's 3 or 4 different scores, so they maintain a long chess score, a chess game that can go on for hours, a classical score, a blitz score for games, less than 10 minutes, a rapid score, and then sometimes even a bullet score as well. So there's at least like 3 ratings that you have even for chess, which is games of chess are fairly similar, even if they're faster. Sure. It's not like you're going up a hill or flat.
And also, you don't lose, if you get good at something as a skill, you generally don't, if you haven't done it for 3 weeks, you lose a little bit maybe, but it's not like cycling where you rapidly decline.
Yeah. And as well, it's not like a Fortnite or something where you might do a dozen games in a session.
Well,
you're doing one. Most people do 1 game a week maximum. So
so your data is a lot smaller too. So
yes, but you have the benefit of having a lot of power data about the person, so you're able to seed them. So it's kind of like the good that kind of tries to outweigh some of the bad.
Yeah. it's very hard to tell if someone's sandbagging just because they're stoned playing a computer game.
Yeah, so Zwift have implemented this open skill, true skill, whatever thing, which is used in a lot of Microsoft gaming platform stuff.
True skill is so Microsoft built True Skill, and then Open Skill is like open source version of the same thing.
Right, I see. And one of the main differences, and there may be many, to a ELO approach is that essentially we don't have a standard overlap. If two people are separated by a certain amount, then with Velo it doesn't matter like how many games they've played. That's their rating. That's what it is. Doesn't matter about we don't look at how many games they've played in order to get there. Whereas with this approach, ZRS, what they do is they say, well, if someone's played a lot of games, and so I'm the green line, I've just guessed that mine is a lot narrower than you two's because I might have done more races recently, though Ben's doing quite a lot. And so they're saying, let's narrow that. So we say that this person is a lot more certain that we know they're there. Whereas Tim maybe hasn't raced very much, so his is quite wide. We don't really know where he is, within that spread.
Generally, yes, but that assumes that you're finishing where the system thinks you're going to.
Yes, true. Yeah.
So your sigma might, which is the represented by this area underneath the curve. Yes. It might not narrow if you're like come in first and then last and then first and then last, that sort of thing. So
again,
it gets complicated.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. So if it's getting confirmation that you're where you thought you were, then it will narrow. If you're all over the shop, then it'll widen. Is that fair? And I don't know what that is actually. That's the same thing, I think. But in actuality, so in the previous slide I had us quite separated. But what it seems like is happening is that even though I have raced a lot more than either of you and my score is higher than you, there's still quite a significant overlap because they're setting that initial spread quite wide. So
the default starting sigma is quite high, and so I think that is something that could be addressed.
So within a pen, within a pen which has only got a spread of 150 or 100 or whatever it might be, then it looks like everyone has got a reasonable chance of beating everyone else.
Yes,
because the sigma is so high that and that essentially is what has led to this half up, half down type of result which we're seeing, rather than even if you're the lowest, if you're the blue line here, the light blue line to the left, then it might look like you're lower rated than everyone else, virtually everyone else in the race, but even if you beat them, the system is saying, yeah, you had a good chance of beating them. Yeah, you did. So, you're going to go up, and only a bit, and the people who you beat, it's essentially coming to that half up, half down thing. Now, whether that'll change over a long period of time, or whether they're using, is it only looking at results from the last 90 days, or is it looking at forever results?
Since the system started.
Right, okay.
Since the last reseed. So, I think there's another... So OpenSchool has a bunch of configurable parameters. You mentioned sigma. That's specific to each person. But then there are others... Yeah, and then there are others that are kind of system-wide. So there's beta and tau. Beta is that number you were talking about where how big of a difference between two scores can you reasonably say the person with the higher score is going to win 3 out of 4 times?
Right.
So, and that's very similar to ELO has this D, which I think by default is set to 400 generally.
Yeah, so
So if
every
you see that
400
in,
points, you're 10 times more likely to beat someone or something like that.
well, in ELO, once you get to 400, it just assumes you will beat them 100% of the time, or
Right.
99%. So I think the beta used right now is too high, so that also is what's contributing to that. But again, it's you kind of I support the way that it's gone so far, where you have to nail the seed formula first, and then once that has kind of settled, then move on to these other things. Because otherwise, if you're trying to change so many variables at once, I feel like you could be chasing things that going down rabbit holes and dead ends and things. So
Yeah, it's nice that they ended up on the same seed formula that you had.
yeah, no, that's
Is
cool.
it exactly the same?
Rob,
Yeah,
when it first started doing Zwift racing score, it's like, what? Why are they making their own thing when there's already a system there?
yeah, it's a lot more complicated than that, but yeah. So that was a fun ride, but I'm glad that it ended up where it's at. I haven't heard many negative, comments. I don't know if you guys have seen any about where their score is and things like that. So it feels like it's doing okay.
Well,
The real,
there's a few things, and it particularly affects people similar to me in that they the small field thing seems weird. So in your system, if you beat a load of people if you beat a load of people, you get a bigger boost. Whereas it seems the opposite in this system. If you beat a small group of people, you get a huge boost. And yeah, if you beat a large group of people, it's like, oh yeah, you did all right. That seems utterly weird. Is that
yeah,
if?
I think that, and I can give you guys a link to a true skill calculator. So I
Oh,
think you can
don't do that.
find that. Why not?
It's
Yeah, I
too
mean, this
complicated.
is
Okay, sorry,
if you
do
want to
do that.
like really get in the weeds of it. Yeah, this is the way. So I think this like part of a true skill thing that or open skill thing that just needs to be sorted out as to why that happens. It could be a number of reasons. It could be that, yeah, I'm not really sure yet, but yeah, I
Well,
haven't observed that.
the other thing I thought I'd
So
mention is this. So the Zwift racing score that you see is not
yes,
the top of the peak. It is the bottom of the peak. So it's
correct.
the what they this is what the top of the peak is what they think. Let's call this your performance rating. So what in the system is calculating how good you are. But your Zwift racing score is the is your I've just got to
It's a
say
very
it's your
conservative estimate.
it's your standard deviation, three standard deviations away from that, which covers 0.24% of the curve is below the score. Now, one of the weird results of that is that someone who does a lot of races, so you can have two people who have, one's done a lot of races and has performed within their range, therefore their standard deviation or sigma has reduced, their spread has reduced. The system knows, yeah, you always finish there. Yeah, there you go. You'll have a very thin. And this is exaggerated, and probably the scale is exaggerated, but we are definitely seeing this in real life. And another person who barely races or has had a wide variety of results, but
Mhm.
the system still thinks is identically rated, performance rated. The blue line, the blue rider will have a very much higher Swift racing score than the person with the identical performance rating.
Yeah,
And that's also why we're seeing some people who race a lot, they're just constantly drifting up and they don't know why. They're like, why is my racing score going up when I'm not doing very well? It's just, well, you're doing not very well consistently. So your racing score, you're very consistent in your average performances. And I've got a guy, he lives just over there. Sorry, Stephen Bevis, and he just, he just turns up every morning. He does small races as well. So he always races at 6 o'clock. Has done for years. 6 o'clock. That's how I know him. And he's just gone up and up and up. He's virtually never won a B race, but because he's just like, and he just goes up and up and up. And I assume it's this. I assume it's a bit of this, and a bit of There's a couple of sandbaggers turn up to every race. There seems to be some sort of bonus, like bonus minus bonus for doing last. Well done, you've come last, so you can go. You get a special dispensation to go down a category. And he's like, I'm not coming last. So there does seem a bit of that.
A lot there. We used to unpack that a little bit, but on this topic you're showing here, that definitely I think is the case. So the default behavior on open scale and true scale is that you score people at mu minus 3 sigma, which is what you're seeing, the light.
Oh, that's the default, is it?
There. Yeah. But the reason that's done is that generally everyone starts with a mu of, I think the default number is 25. So there is no seed score in most, or probably in many open skill implementations. So I think that there has been some analysis done, not by me, in the team about switching to mu as instead of mu minus 3 sigma. So I don't think it's a case that's never going to change. I think it
just to be clear again, I don't mind going into the maths, but the mu is your performance rate in the top of the line.
Yep.
Sigma is your spread.
Yep.
How variable it is. Sorry.
Yeah. And so the reason you would do that is.
Well, I got a chance to chat saying to put your volume down just a touch because we're quiet and you're loud.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Sorry. I can't make you any louder, but I can reduce myself.
There you go.
Okay.
I think it was from when you were impersonating your authoritarians earlier. You might have turned yourself up. Another thing that I think is causing that, I think you mentioned sandbaggers or such.
Yes.
Right now, if you happen to not have very good power data when the reseed occurred, and then you do a race and you do enough power to set a new seed, rather than the system taking you to that new seed value, it's taking you to your new floor. And so that discrepancy is causing people to not move up as fast as they probably should. So that's another thing that I hope is going to be looked at soon.
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? So just to go over that, I haven't really understood this because it's not happened to me. But are we saying that you can increase your, just say I race, I go up and up and up from my seed, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go up and up and up from my seed, but then my 5-minute power expires, which it probably is going to soon, I would imagine, because I've been pretty crap for a long time. And so my 5-minute power goes down and reseeds me. Would my Zwift racing score go down?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, this is people that set new PBs so say their score is now 300, but they set a new 5-minute power PB that would have seeded them at 500, rather than the system taking them to 500, which is what ZwiftRacing.app does. Like you set a new, well, it's more complicated than that, but generally, if you set a nice new power, it's going to take you right to there with the expectation that that's a lot closer to where you should be than where you are currently.
Right.
So
if I was to say to you, like, why have they done all this rather than just taking your thing, which seems a lot better? What would you have to be?
I mean, it's not as simple as that. Yeah, I think when I first started talking to Flint, like whatever, a year ago, whatever it was, I think we kind of decided pretty straight away that wasn't going to be something that they were going to look to do. So I haven't really asked too many questions about that. I've just made myself available and offered, as well to pick off things that work well. So like the min effort thing that's now included in the Zwift Racing Score solution is very, very similar to.
Oh, is it? Oh, I said it was going to be much better.
What's that?
I said it was going to be much better. I thought you'd hinted that it was going to be much better.
The min effort one?
Yeah.
Oh. What's not better about it?
No, I thought you said that what they're going to do is going to be much better than what you do.
Oh.
I thought that's what you said, and I repeated it.
Yes.
So I misquoted you. But I might have misquoted you. Is it just the same?
It's pretty similar.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to give anything away.
Okay, yeah, don't give anything away. The sandbaggers don't need any more help than they've got.
Yeah,
People cope with it themselves.
It's a constant.
The sandbaggers do spoil a lot, don't they? I mean, they really do, and they're clever. They're clever. Bloody sandbaggers.
This is the thing that's weird about Zwift, because obviously it's an effort, but like other events, you're trying to get a better score. Like in racing online with car racing, you don't want to be at the bottom, because as soon as the race starts, everyone just smashes into each other. You spend so much effort not sandbagging so that you can get into a higher level skill. So the races are much better. Whereas Zwift, there's a lot of people are like, I'd rather just kick everyone's ass down. I don't care if I'm the last cat. Like if I get a win, I get a win. And so that's Zwift. It is it's very different when it comes to sandbagging.
Yeah, I mean,
I think you need ways to encourage people to want to move their score up. So more carrots for people to chase.
I can't imagine wanting to get into a lower category for a computer game, but I can't imagine people. I know people are doing it in this. I know lots of people are doing it in this. What is the big difference? Is it because it's so little effort? You can play 30 games a night, and it would just be boring to. Oh, I've got to play 5 games I've got to lose 5 games in order to win 1 game, rather than I actually want to get better at this thing.
There's probably like adrenaline too. Like with car racing, obviously there's a skill factor. Like you don't want to enter the first corner and have 30 people smash into you and your race is over. But like if you're playing Call of Duty or something, there's the adrenaline factor of getting that kill, like the headshot and things. Whereas if you're playing against noobs, like it's like, well, what's the point? This is so easy. I'm not enjoying this. Whereas Zwift is there's a different fun element to it. So
yeah, I mean, I enjoyed each one of my 200 B race wins. I wasn't like, I should definitely be an A.
But to be fair to them, I'm not a sandbag. I'm not excusing them, but like, there's a way more people that have won 0 B races than have been as successful as you. Yeah. So if you're that person who's in the old pace group categorization and you're barely a B, I mean, if you get stuffed it out the back, 20 times in a row, who's to say, like, I'll just increase my weight to get back down to C, and then I can actually be competitive. Like, I kind of get that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I should add as well, but by the way, that I think this is a much better system. I always said that I shouldn't be able to win as much as I am, but I wasn't sandbagging. I haven't come out with like 4.7 power now that this category enforcement system's over. Yeah. It was never there. I never had it.
People in that Goldilocks zone.
Yeah, there's a comment in the chat from Mark Rides Bikes. So with a lot of other games, there's the rep score. So is there any chat about adding another sort of marker? Like, so if you do well, you're consistent. Like as you said, if you're consistent in Zwift, it doesn't really. There's no sort of indication of that. Whereas if you have a rep score, you can say, yes, this person finishes 90% of his races in the same, well, their races in the same position or something. Some sort of, as you say, some sort of incentive to say, this is what you're trying to achieve. Besides wins, you get a cool rep score.
Mm-hmm. That's a good idea.
So it's no sort of chat.
Right. Is there anything more to say? Yeah. So overall, I definitely think it's a positive thing. I just want it to be even better, and I'm glad that the consultants are sticking around. Are they the PhD guys?
Oh, I'm not sure about the PhD guys. I should say as well, I'm not a PhD. I'm just a software engineer.
Don't need PhD to be an expert. As I said, some of the best people I've ever worked with are PhDs, but also the most incompetent person I've ever worked with is a PhD, so it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be awesome.
I think, a lot of the issues around the seed formula and the PhD and all that sort of stuff was mostly like bad data, and I was guilty of this as well. The analysis that led to that first seed formula of 30-second and 10-minute was based on all pace group events. So events where your aerobic power was bounded by the pace group category enforcement, but your anaerobic power wasn't. So it stands to reason that in those events, those two metrics would come out on top as being the most indicative. But as soon as you remove those bindings from even your aerobic power, then all of a sudden it doesn't work. So kind of that was kind of the oversight that
and then
occurred,
if you go the other way and say, oh, let's look at so obviously the 10-minute power then dominated. Oh, okay, let's go to 10-minute power. You're like, no, because then all the sprinters are winning. So I think 5 minutes a happy medium. Maybe it should be a curve, but we've been down the curve line and how easy that is to manipulate as well.
Yeah, I think, and this is something I'd love to do with Velo, just to kind of prove out a bit of a POC, but the handicaps do a good job of kind of starting this, but having the ratings be multidimensional. So having like a sprint rating or sprint Velo, and then like a distance and all, like a few different ones. You can even like associate
You're agreeing
them to...
with Ben. You weren't meant to. I didn't invite you here to agree with Ben.
I didn't know he had this opinion, but that's definitely the way.
always go on about it.
So then once you have that, and you can, the next step is, and this is also something I want to do, and all the time I don't have, but is have route specific combinations of those different metrics. So for Fuego Flats, you might say this is going to be a 70% endurance, a 20%, and a 30% sprint rating organized course. So then you would take you would take all the people signed up and say, okay, let's use those two ratings from your overall rating to categorize you.
Yeah, I sort of don't like this because I sort of think that every dog should have his day, kind of thing. And then this light, I'm just picturing this lighter guy who I work with, who's a better climber than me, but not as good a sprinter. He's never won a race. And I'm like, oh, okay, so he'd be, we go into a climbing race, and I get put in the B category because I'm not. So I've got a chance again, and he gets in the A category, and he hasn't got a chance again. And he's like, oh,
sure.
you know what I mean? I was like, he should be in the same category as me for the, for both.
Yeah.
Because,
I do see your point. It does work really well when you do tour events because I'll like me and Niall Batty, we never meet on Zwift. Even though we used to ride on the same level, we never met because he'd go to the Alp and I'd go to Fuego Flats.
Right.
But when we do a tour event where they're like, okay, we'll put some flat routes and we'll do some hilly routes, then I'm forced to do that. So I can agree with you on that. Like that is something that I can get behind, but at the same time, I do like the fact that you can do course-specific ratings as well.
Yeah, and really, we're talking about casual versus competitive racing. So I think in a casual setting, having that sort of multi-dimensional categorization, I think would really be good. But like in the competitive one, where you have a tour, like you were saying, where you can have a flat stage and a mountain stage or whatever. I'm a big believer in sometimes you should be the hammer, sometimes the nail. So I'm usually the nail more often than not. You can see by my profile.
You used to be an awesome sprinter. I remember you used to win.
Yeah, not so much lately.
You'd be like Rob in the old days.
Yeah, do you remember back in 2022? Used to win races.
Yeah, I just haven't been riding as much.
Yeah. So did you do a house build or a house move or what was it?
Last year we did.
Right. Yeah.
Not a house build, just to move.
A move playing the house. And now getting back onto Indie Velo. So one of the things I like about Indie Velo is ranked and unranked. Is there any talk about implementing something like that with Zwift? Because at the moment, as Rob said, you enter a race and you might not be feeling very good that day, but you feel bad because it affects your score. Is there any sort of options to not do group rides? Because I'm not a big fan of using a group ride for a race, but having races where you can enter it doesn't affect your ranking.
Yeah, definitely. That's been on the in the meetings, figuring out ways to do that. Yeah.
I mean, there are still races that aren't ZRS enabled. I like the Zwift Mexicanissimo, for instance, and I entered it thinking it would be rated, but I don't think it was when I finished.
So you can choose to opt out when you set up the event.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I like doing, because sometimes you want to do a race, but you want to do an effort, like you can do VI2 efforts, and so you might not sprint for the finish. But if you on Zwift at the moment, you can do group rides, but then sometimes you just want to actually race because the pack dynamics is different. One of the things that I don't like about group rides is the fact that pack dynamics is different, especially at the moment where they're using pack dynamics 5s versus pack dynamics 4.1.
What is it? What is it? How on earth have we got to this situation where, like, the pack dynamics is like significantly different in group rides? I don't mean the testing of the new one, but it just is in general, isn't it? Like,
well, the Supertuck is one of the biggest things that impacts it, because when you do a group ride, the Supertuck's crap. And so it's not such a big deal now because the Supertuck is quite hard to get. But that was one of the things that I disliked about group rides, is you go down a descent and you can't go, I'll just Supertuck now. You have to keep pedaling.
I suppose we've got to remember most normal people, 95% of riding must be done outside of events even, or 95% of riding must be done outside of races at least.
Yeah, I jump a lot of time. I jump in a free ride because I look at an event and I was like, it doesn't start 15 minutes. What am I going to do for 15 minutes?
I thought you said you jumped in late. I've trapped you like in a web. I've trapped you in a web of deceit, Ben Pitt.
That's only when there's Tour de Zwift and Tour of Watopia event, or the late joins. But all the rest of the year, when you Europeans are outside in summertime and us Aussies are in the winter, we don't get anything. We get nothing.
I'm sorry. I'm just seeing the usage of interpenetrated in the chat. It's really caught on that word. I'm glad they've introduced that into the Zwift lexicon. That's well done, whoever did that that post. I wonder if that's all that. There's loads of words that I'm not going to go into them, but there's loads of words that I use at work which were like really amusing when I first used them, like isn't that a funny word? Now I just use it, it has no. I wonder if in years to come, interpenetrate. If in Zwift circles they just use interpenetrate all the time without anyone tittering, and it's because they've used it for so long.
I'd like to have been in the meeting when someone first used that. And they bring up the PowerPoint.
Too much interpenetration in Zwift.
Is that in the dictionary?
Interpenetration happening.
Oh, they must have made that word up. That can't be a word.
It's in the dictionary.
It's in the dictionary.
Yeah.
Blimey.
Oxford dictionary.
Oxford. Oh, the proper dictionary as well. Wow. Well. Right. So I mean, it's hard to imagine being penetrated if it's not inter. It's like, how can you be what sort of penetration is not?
We're going to start a different podcast, Rob.
Well, I mean, in any definition of the word penetrate.
So steer the conversation away.
Oh, this stream is going to get stopped, isn't it? YouTube's going to get over it. Right. Let's stop talking about such matters.
Yeah, the biggest thing that I see on the chats is not so much the score, it's the categories. Mostly from people who get bumped up into the top category and they can't race anymore.
Yes.
Advanced?
Yeah, because they're in the high.
It's the insolvable problem, isn't it, to an extent? But
I don't see what. Like, I used to race in ACAT, and I could do a race pretty much every single day, and there'd be heaps of people. What's happened why is there suddenly so little amount of people in the top category? Like, we used to be A and then A+. Sure, there wouldn't be that many A+ riders, but it was always an ACAT race. So what's happened? people to stop racing on Zwift and they go on to Indivelo and My Wish?
I don't think so. I'm wondering about that myself. I'm trying to think of what. Because are you talking like even when A was 4.2 and above, even then
like
you would
the
see
original,
big.
the original. I even like because as an Australian, we obviously have different time zone events. So I'll do my 7:30 event, and that's stupid o'clock in the rest of the world. So I'll be racing against Japanese riders and things, but we'd still have populated events. I'll do an ACAT ride, which would have 60 or 70 riders in it every single week as a regular ride. Now I'm not in ACAT anymore, so I don't know, but it seems like they've had to cut back on a lot of A events just because there's no one riding them.
Was this when there was Z Racing hourly and stuff, or was this, the calendars changed a lot?
Well, pretty much I've stopped doing ACAT since 2000, 2024 I was ACAT at the beginning, and then so I was anything up until early 2024 where you did have the Z Racing. It was when it changed because I got bumped down to a BCAT when they messed up the categorizations, and then I got bumped up to A. But
it
I
did
never
seem
had
that
any
changed,
issues.
didn't it? Where they lowered it. Did they lower it? What did they do?
Yeah, they lowered it down. So all of a sudden I was in a BCAT, and I rode a BCAT and absolutely smashed everyone. I was like, well, this is embarrassing. I can't ride a BCAT.
Yeah, they lowered it, and then since then it just doesn't seem.
Well, they did readjust it, but that's when they had the durations. But the thing with the durations, of course, is if you're the hammer in an ACAT race, a lot of the times you just be cruising along, and you're not actually you're showing your power. So, but the thing that I find weird reading is that the fact that there seems to be a ghost town now in A category since they've changed to the ZRS scores, and I don't understand how that is because. What you're talking about is everyone keeps going up in ZRS score. So where's all these people that are going up and getting caught in the top cat?
Well, I've gone up and started racing less, but maybe there must be some of that. People.
And it's winter time too. Like this is usually the peak Zwift.
So these ones. So this is showing the advanced races are the ones with just the red. Yeah. So the other races with 5 categories they're really B's, aren't they, in the red? So the ones which are happening are at least you get to race with people.
Yes.
So it's more fun, surely. But
I would think so. Yeah, I think that what you're seeing is in the ZRS era. If you took the old swath of A, which I don't like to use that parlance anymore, maybe we should let it die, A, B, C, D. But I think you see a score range of like maybe even in the 500s to 1,000, or 600 to 1,000. And so that's just like, that's not a competitive group to try to do one pen like that. So what they tried to do first, the events team, is to have that top 10 be like 690 to 1,000 or whatever it was. But there's a big difference between a 700 or a 691 and a 950. And so I think people didn't feel competitive in that. And then the byproduct is that with a limit of 5 subgroups, the only option then is to prune a part of the 1 to 1,000 out and separate them into their own events. Because really the makeup of the user base hasn't changed. Like if you took like the seed score, and I could make these graphs based on 2022 to now, whatever, and you could see that the composition hasn't changed. It's just like where people are categorized now.
Yeah, so my mate who never won a race, even though he's 4.7 or whatever, 20 minutes, he's now a B. He's now, because he hasn't got a sprint and he's rubbish at racing, is a B now, effectively, or wherever, where this is one thing that they should definitely do. They should give these categories a name. Because we've got no choice but to say B, or we've got to use something. They should give them a name. This is one thing they should definitely do. Give them the categories a name.
Good, less good, not so good. Probably not too bad. Terrible. Should ride more.
Yeah, the problem is that if you want the end of the rainbow to be a matchmaking experience, then in that sort of setting there is no category.
Is there not?
And right now with
there seems like one thing
ranges,
which cannot change is the number of pens. So do you just call them
But
pen 1 to 5?
Well, back when I used to play Halo, back in the old days, that's what used to happen. You'd log on to Xbox Live, whatever it was, and say matching your races, and you wouldn't know whether you wouldn't know where you were. You just know.
You wouldn't even know what match you're in.
Yeah, you're just like, okay, I've got 10 other people or 20 other people who are the same level as me. I wouldn't be going, I won an ACAT race or whatever.
Right,
so, but it's a very weird thing to think about because cyclists are used to racing outdoors where you've got Cat 1, Cat 2, Cat 3, Cat 4. And so it's very hard to get our head around the fact that we enter a race and we've got no idea where we sit in the hierarchy of things. Yeah,
and I'm kind of a fan of defining categories so that those communities can be built. I don't know, it doesn't matter what you call them, but it makes it easier for people that are setting up teams for ZRL or whatever.
ZRL,
ZRL is going to be a bloody nightmare, isn't it? I cannot blame them at all for not going with this first time round. But is it even going to go next time? Do you think?
Surely it has.
Sorry,
it's too big not to happen. Surely.
Yeah, hopefully.
Are you talking about doing the Zwift Racing Score? I don't think they'll use the Zwift Racing Score next time. I think they'll just go, okay, it's too hard. We'll just wait till next season.
Just a segment battle points.
Yeah. Battle points. I was, because I'm in Australia, we were the first time zone. We got ready for the battle points, and then after the race, we got an email saying, "Oh, we're not having battle points." Like, you know what? We just spent the whole race doing battle points and sacrificing the finish. I think that was a workout anyway. Yeah, but that was a decline of I think I might look at other events besides the RL because it's pretty demoralising spending 2 weeks, whatever it was, planning your tactics and then getting the rug pulled out from under you.
Right, I think that's all my questions. Actually, one more. It seemed to me as though they had decay in there, which was, sort of evening out the fact that they'd underseeded everyone to start with. It seemed like they deliberately underseeded everyone to move up. I don't know, maybe that's part of... Anyway, but there was decay in there, and then there wasn't. Is it just going to inflate over time, now that decay's not in there? Or have they changed things to offset the fact that there's no decay?
So they have a dashboard for that to be able to monitor that.
Right, okay.
And so, the decay is just like a normal feature of OpenSkill. So I think they took the approach of let's start with a pretty basic implementation and then see where we need to make edits that are Zwift specific. Turning decay off felt like a obvious one, at least to me. I definitely think there ought to be some sort of decay, maybe not in your racing score, but maybe in your seed. So we've talked about right now it only looks at your 90-day, and so maybe it ought to look further back, but treat those longer historical efforts with some decay, and use some sort of formula for that. So that's kind of the plan, at least in my mind, in terms of what I would advise. But
yeah, because one of the big issues is you've got, you can ride on Zwift and be good, but the thing is you can go outdoors, you get riders who do a whole season of racing, and they come back and they'll be better than they are. Whereas if you do a computer game, you might play other computer games, but it's not like you've been spending the off season practicing the game, but without getting all the information to the game. So there is that difficulty too of people practicing Zwift outdoors, getting extremely fit, and then coming back and blowing out the races because they're a DCAT or a CCAT. As you say, if you lose that 90-day data because you've been away for 4 months or whatever it is. So
Right.
there's so many moving parts with.
Oh my goodness.
this.
Yeah. So timing the release of this with that, September issue that always happens every year with people coming back indoors. Yeah, it's just an unfortunate side effect. Yeah, it's an additional variable to have to worry about.
Yeah.
Yeah, the system just has to be quick about recognizing that, oh, this person's way over skilled, or compared to the people they're racing with. So
You need to do, like, if you haven't been on for 3 weeks, you got to do a quick 5-minute race. chuck you in the what's that section where no one ever rides? You got the steering and you got to do all the. You got to try and
repack
repack ridge.
What is it? Repack ridge, is that it?
Yeah. Just get rid of all the gamey stuff and just do repack ridge as fast as you can, and then we'll be able to go. Okay, you've got this kind of ability, because you don't want to make people do 2 races or whatever to spoil them, but you can do a repack ridge, make people have. But it's a warm up basically, and if someone's good, they'll do a much faster warm up than someone who's an absolute beginner. So that could be If I was Eric Min, I'd be putting that in. I'd be paying millions of dollars for a team to implement that. Where's Rob gone?
Is he gone?
He's just given up. He's just like that. I've finished. See you later.
Oh yeah, fair enough. He did tell us it was he was wrapping up, I think. So I gotta make sure I said everything I wanted to here.
Yeah, there's so much to say. I'm sure there's so many things. So
it's a very difficult problem to solve.
Yeah, I suppose the biggest thing, because obviously you run the app. Is there anything else that we haven't discussed that you want to let us know about?
So look out for some Zwift Power-like functionality on the website, Zwift.com, in the coming year. I gave the link to the Trisco calculator, so people can, if they want to get nerdy and check things out and see how the Trisco system works.
There's definitely people who want to know.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, yeah. There's people in the Discord that know more about OpenSkill than I do, for sure. So there are people that are interested. So I think what needs to happen soonish, in my opinion, is the reviewing that mu versus mu minus 3 sigma, that really conservative estimate of skill, and using the more or less conservative version. Is Rob back? Okay.
Yeah, Rob's back.
I am back. Sorry, my wife needed a hand with a heater.
Oh, okay. To keep the wife nice and warm.
Yeah. Can have a cold wife.
I thought you were just done, Rob. You're like, okay, I'm going.
Yeah, Ben's talking.
Here's a big one. We need to see racing score in game. Like, I want to see it like in the riders nearby list during a race. I want to be able to know like who around me is the person right near the top of the range that I'm racing with. Right now it's totally invisible.
Yeah, that's actually a big one, because I know a lot of people use Zwift Power to see what someone's data is, and so to have as Zwift Racing Score is probably a better indication of, well, it should be at some stage a better indication of whether that person's a dangerous person or not.
Yeah.
Well, this is good, because I've said that if we don't get 10 people in the quiz, I'm going to stop doing it. It's not worth it if we don't get 10 people in.
I haven't entered. I'm just.
You've still got to enter. Oh man.
Oh, I got to do it too.
Oh, what?
I have to get off the interpenetration definition.
Right. So, if you want to join the quiz, possibly the last one ever, unless we get 10. Go to www.kahoot.it or with the Kahoot !app, and then enter the game pin, which is 658-7874. That's 658-7874. Or scan the QR code. I don't know if anyone's ever scanned the QR code to get into the quiz. Be interesting.
I thought you said ever. Yeah, I think I sometimes used to do it when I was on my phone.
Did you? Okay. Oh, got 11. We've got 11. We're over the threshold. Right. Okay, it's been up for ages, hasn't it? Should we just kick off? Oh, 12.
Yeah,
12.
let's go. Everyone.
Eddie Hool. Oh, another one. Oh,
I don't see myself.
someone said that the pin is their name. Is that you? Have you entered the pin as your name? Tim?
It's my nickname on screen. What?
What did you enter as your name? Have you entered the pin as your name?
No. Decisive Wildcat 38 is
Oh
what
no,
it's
you're
telling
there.
me.
You're there. Don't worry.
I should have entered your the Z Racing app username number. I forgot what it is.
130, 2300. I wanted to be the interpenetrator, but I think it got blocked.
I can't believe no one's put that.
Yeah.
Okay. It's probably
can't
why so many people are late joining. They were all trying to be interpenetrate.
Stop being independent out there.
Right, I'm going to kick off. ZRS out. Oh, ZRS out. Someone's not a fan of ZRS. Right. Oh, they're all jiggling around now as if they're ready to go. So 15. I'm going to carry on doing the quiz if you've got to carry on joining. Damn you. Right, this one is called Highly Ranked. Yeah, it's a bit about ranking, bit of general stuff, obviously. How many different rides do you need to complete in order to finish the ultimate challenge? Is it 6, 9, 15, or 18? This just goes to show how beneficial it is to join and listen to 2 hours of the Zwifty Chat podcast. Non-stop. It is indeed 18. Look at that, 12. Oh,
I think most people got it right, yeah.
Yeah, they did. Well done them. Shame on the 2 late joiners who haven't been here for 2 hours. Oh, Seb's right in the front. Is Seb? He always calls himself Baz. Oh, Downhill King is in there though. I'm guessing who that is. I know who that is.
Yeah.
Eddie Hool. I hope he's not cheating. He's looking up the answers. Right. How many categories are there in ZwiftRacing.app?
Ooh.
Are there 8, 9, 10, or 11?
Too many.
Is that too many? I hope I got the answer right.
Oh, I'm just saying that's the
All right, I see.
irrespective of the answer.
Oh, look at that! I forgot. I was going to mention it in the podcast, but I forgot as well. But everyone knew. Nice, virtually everyone. Did you get it, Ben?
I got it right.
Yeah.
Of course I got it right. How could you doubt me?
Oh,
Like there should be 8.
you feel that there should be.
Should be 8.
Yeah.
What's your name, Ben, in the quiz?
Well, my name. It's literally my name. I'm
Right,
only
okay.
in.
You're just too far down to be spotted. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not on the board. I'm just too slow with the answers. I'm getting it right. I'm just too slow.
Eddie Huell. Oh, do we award Eddie Huell the win if he wins?
I think we should
sort
have
of
a
verification. Yeah, we need a verification process, don't we? How do you spell the name of this bit of road truck track? I don't like. Is it Dirty Suppressor, Dirty Suppressor, Dirty Suppressor, or Dirty Suppressor? Apologies to what do they call people who can't spell?
Or the Italians out there.
It is the Dirty Suppressor. I didn't know this week. I nearly did the chapters to last week's podcast, and I nearly put Dirty Suppressor, but then I doubted myself and checked.
Did you not know this one?
I didn't know it. So don't feel bad if you didn't know it. Well, do feel bad. Maybe it is shameful that I didn't know how to spell it. I thought, to be honest, I felt it was this, and then I doubted myself because I thought, oh, the suppressor is the climb in the what's it called, the famous. Oh, which one is it? I'm not gonna leave this podcast until I get it. Milan San Remo, isn't it? Suppressor is in Milan San Remo, isn't it? Anyway,
It's a suppressor. Sounds like something you put on the end of a gun.
yeah. I was listening to a podcast about that. Anyway. Eddie Huell's still. Oh gosh, it's quite tight at the top. Oh, go on, Tim. God, Tim, in pod. I love the when
Going
the
well so far.
podcast gets. Yeah, so good so far. You're in perfect position. Which route is
Oh,
the
boy.
shortest? Is it the Muckle Yin, Island Hopper, Coast Crusher, or the Magnificent Eight?
Oh, I got that wrong.
Oh,
Still.
what? Oh. Yeah, Island Hopper. It's only about 19k. The others are way over.
I did get it right.
Oh, you did? God, Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah, Muckle Yins. They're about 25. The others are.
I went with Muckle Yin.
Did you?
Well,
Just
I'm
because it's my
really non-Zwift.
fave. Just because it's my fave, you thought I'd choose it. To be honest,
Well,
I tell you what. I'll honestly say, when I started the question, I had the Muckle Yin in mind as the answer, but then I looked at the other Tour de Zwift routes, and this one was like, oh, I better choose that one.
When I saw the question short as I was like, please be Cedar Tree. But when Cedar Tree didn't come up, I was like, I got no idea now.
Oh, Tim's taking the lead! Oh, and him and Safety with Dis, who don't know who Safety with Dis is, because I think they won last week, was it? But, and they didn't own up. Seb's in, there's a few people in contention though. True or false? ELO stands for Equivalent Lateral Ordering. True or false?
This will be embarrassing if I get it wrong. But I'm unfamiliar with that acronym.
I had to guess on that.
Yes,
Yeah.
ELO is a Hungarian mathematician. Apparently he lived most of his life in Milwaukee. Is that far from you? I don't know where Milwaukee is.
Maybe I can go visit him.
He's dead now.
It sounds like it. It sounds
Well,
like it's
it's
roughly
the grave, surely.
Yeah, surely. He was a very good chess player. Which state's Milwaukee in?
Wisconsin?
Right. Yeah. He was the Wisconsin state champion 12 years running apparently. So he's very good at chess as well as being a mathematician.
That's nice.
But yeah, other than Electric Light Orchestra, the prog rock band of the 70s, ELO does not stand for anything. It is a person. Oh, you've just gone down a bit. Did you hesitate? What happened there?
I did.
Blimey. Yeah, so still tight at the top between you three. You're fighting it out there. Right, 6th question. What is the first stage of ZRL? Is it Wandering Flats, Wasted 8, Duce France, or Triple Flat Loops?
Honestly guessed there.
Yeah.
Oh, Tim, we did say it. I know it was a long. It was a long time ago, though. A lot
that was
of
stage
water's
2.
good. I know. I messed you up. I messed you up with a Duce France, did I? Because I sent you Duce
I went
France.
for that.
And
Yeah,
you
I went
awarded
for
me
that
the
as well
points.
because we're talking about it.
I did send you that in a text to say that's what we're going to be talking about, and then we didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's the last time I read your text, Rob.
Sorry. Oh, Seb's taking a commanding lead, though. Look at that. He knows his ZRL. Come on, Seb. Come on. How many racers have claimed their ZwiftRacing.app profile? Is it 6,000, 15,000, 33,000, or 48,000?
I want to talk to the quiz maker about this one.
Have I got the question wrong?
No. I just some of these answers are outrageous. Yeah, go on.
15,000.
I got that. I got that right because I was like, oh, surely there's not 8,000. Surely it's not the upper end's a bit higher.
Yeah, I was nearly going to. It depends on the way you frame it, though, doesn't it? Whether it looks like a lot or a little. You're like, oh, I don't know, because it.
I mean,
I shouldn't have put it one in the middle. But putting it either end felt odd.
Yeah, but we talk about how we're on the very niche part of Zwift, but there's still a lot of people who are extremely hardcore racers.
Yeah, true.
The best people.
And do you feel the weight of having 15,000 people checking your website?
Yeah. No, it's definitely something I think about. Making sure it stays up, and
Yeah.
I know people. If an event doesn't show up straight away, there's comments asking where it is because you want to see the change. So yeah.
And
There's no vacation.
how many have you got in your Discord? Must be hundreds, is it?
It's about 1,500.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Just a couple of hundred drives me crazy. No, they're the most wonderful people in the world. And
Of course.
it's been the greatest source of inspiration for me over the last couple of years. Genuinely. So I can only imagine how inspired you are. Oh, Eddie Huell! Eddie Huell's taking the lead! Oh, come on! Oh, that is close at the top, isn't it? Right.
That one's a bit of a cheat for me.
Which is a genuine pace partner name? Jamie, Joshua, Jacques, or Jean?
Look at that.
I had
Wow.
Jacques.
Impressive.
Yeah.
I had a disagreement with Zwift Insider many years ago. Remember when they changed the partner name for Coco? And they when they brought the running pace partners in, and I think Shane Miller was on a podcast and he mistakenly decided that Coco was actually Cara, and then Zwift Insider ran with it, and I wrote down on the chat, no, it's not. Coco's not Cara. Still Coco. And I'm like, no, we've spoken to Zwift and they said it's Coco. I'm like, no, it's still Coco. I mean, it's Cara. It's still Coco. And many years later, I responded to that chat. So I told you she was still Coco. One time when I told Zwift Insider he was wrong, and I was right. I will forget all the other ones that I was wrong.
The only no, I won't talk about the time that I was right. Anyway, right. Oh, it's still tight at the top, and there's a double pointer to come. It's all to play for. It really is all to play for. If you're in the 5,000-6,000s, keep in there. It's all to play for.
The rest of you just give up so I can move up.
But Eddie Huell, has Eddie Huell owned up, by the way? The chat. Is anyone checking the chat?
In real life, or?
It may be the Eddie Huell, and he should be welcomed back. You know, he's made a mistake. I'd welcome him back if he wants to join.
This is like a great ride. He's allowed to cheat on this. We've got no rating.
Right. Question 9.
Here we go.
Which team is Tim a member of? Is it
This is another cheat.
Kaboom Cycling Madness, 3R, Dirt, or 4-Star?
Oh. We didn't discuss this.
We didn't. I meant to, but I forgot. Sorry. You have to know it.
I have 3 children.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking. I was thinking that's one of the biggest teams, surely. It's a good guess.
You're welcome to, if you want to join us at Kaboom as a secondary, that would be appreciated, but, you know, no pressure.
I'm looking for a ladder team.
Oh, I'd like to get into ladder,
But
definitely.
it needs to be US evening, so
Right, no,
could be late for you.
don't do it.
I think that's like Australian morning, too.
Oh, Eddie Huell's got caught out. Got caught out at the final, the penultimate hurdle. Oh, Tim's moved back up into second place. It's safe to with this.
This feels
That's
bad.
double point.
Right,
Double point, here we go.
double points for the final question.
Quick fast.
Oh, I don't know if I've made this easy or hard. I don't know. And is that a clue? Is that
Feel
a
like
clue?
a sandbagger.
Okay, final question. Get ready.
Interpenetration.
Which of these is not a climb portal ride? Mont Ventoux, Le Superplanche de Belfi, Col de Glibier, or Col de Tourmalet?
I was super quick on this, but not enough to move up that much.
Oh, Tim's looking steely. Did he get it right, and did he go fast?
It's just as well. No.
Oh, what? Darth Vader? Look at him coming in. Oh,
man.
Seb again, second. And the winner is Safety with Discs again. Oh, congratulations, Safety with Discs.
Not
Many
enough, mate.
congratulations. I haven't got the chat up. Should we get the chat up? There we go. Is that Safety with Discs owned up yet? Anyone want to lay claim to the win? No, there we go. If you do, Tim's punishment is to introduce whatever feature you like into Zwift Racing Score.
If it's Swift Racing app, I can probably do it. But I'm not sure about racing score.
Yeah. Okay.
What the feature of every single race I do. Actually, I couldn't even think because you can't make us win the race, and I don't want to win on your app because I'll just get seated really
How
high.
about I can make an achievement if someone beats Rob in a race, they get an achievement.
What?
You get the interpenetrated.
So then everyone's going to really try to beat you.
Okay, safety
do
with
that.
discs. Safety with discs. Did you hear that? You could define a special achievement for beating me in a race in ZwiftRacing.app if you own up.
Let's see it. I'll do it tonight.
Oh, no one's owned it up. No one wants it. They must be on
No, no,
YouTube,
no,
aren't
no,
they?
on
They've got to
Zwift.
be on. They've got to be on
They might.
YouTube to be watching, haven't they?
They might have us on mute. They've just joined for the quiz.
What? The own achievement in Zwift? I would pretend to be him now.
Is my chat? Oh no, I was going to say my chat stored, but no, Zwifty is Zwifter. Zwifty
That's
is
what
Zwifty.
the achievement should be called. Obviously,
Yeah.
Zwift is. Oh man,
Oh, yeah, there you go. See?
no one wants it.
I'm going to write that down.
I'm surprised no one's claimed it.
I know.
I would just say it's me because no one else wants to do it.
No one wants it.
Oh, come
You
on.
know what?
What? They've
That's a
won 2
shame.
weeks in a row. Maybe they're embarrassed about winning. Oh, it might be one of my haters. There's loads of people who hate me now, and yeah, they might be embarrassed to admit that they're also watching my podcast.
Maybe it relates to one of the Discord chats where they're like, they get motivation because they dislike you. So they're like, I'm going to make sure I win this, but I'm going to.
Yeah, I'm gonna spoil this quiz by winning every week.
Yeah.
I think
So,
your recent podcast guest, Josh Harris, I think he's near the top of the achievement rankings.
Oh yeah.
yeah, he's an absolute. I feel like I felt like I helped his growth because he joined our team when he was brand new to Zwift, and so I've seen his progression from being an absolute beast who had no idea what he was doing to one of the smartest racers on Zwift.
I'm
For
sure he
sure.
would agree with that, Ben. I'm really sure he would agree with that. Yeah, I can't imagine
And
a better
after-
time to join.
I had a chat with him after your guys' episode and got Zwift to add a Australia evening advanced race.
Oh, nice.
So I don't know if you saw that announcement. There's 2 additional advanced races of the day now.
Well, I just noticed them on the calendar when I was doing that that filter on the events results. So nice. And they seem
So Josh
reasonably
can
well
just
attended.
kick everyone's ass.
I can't believe no one's owned it. To beat safety with
It's
discs.
a shame.
Yeah, there you go.
He really wants that achievement, people.
Who came second? Maybe we can give it to them.
I would be the only person
just-
who couldn't achieve it though, as well. Wouldn't I?
That's right. You could never achieve it.
Just make a second account like I do.
Uh,
Basically,
Right. Well, Tim, that was utterly spectacular. I'm sorry I took up so much of your time, but you were
It's
magnificent. You were utterly awesome, and I thank you very much. And thank you, Ben, for joining. Glad to see you're well again.
yeah, thanks for that. It was good to hear a bit of the background about all this information because unlike Rob, I know, like I see what happened, but I've got no idea about all the background calculations and things. So I think for me, I find it quite a funny on Facebook chat that everyone complains about all the changes, but it seems like Zwift is actually continuously adjusting this. So I fully expect that, a year's time we'll be not chatting about Zwift racing score anymore and just accepting it as it is, and hopefully, all having a good race. Anyone?
Definitely,
No
yeah.
one turned up yet.
Still no one's owned up. Mystery winner. Okay, well, thanks again. That's been episode 10. We've made it to episode 10 as well. Thanks, Ben. I'm
Congrats.
sorry about all the headphone thing at the start. I don't know what that was, but it just changes port and stuff. But anyway, yeah, thanks. That was awesome. And I will see you in on.